to episode 102 of Checkpoint Chat.
102 Dalmatians.
102. There was a sequel, 102 Dalmatians. That's Matty Figueroa, by the way.
Again, I'm here to talk about dogs and make bad jokes.
There literally was a sequel, 102 Dalmatians, but I don't know if they just had like one more puppy and just.
I said that as a joke, but you're absolutely right. It was one of the. Do you remember when Disney back in the day they made these hit movies and it's like, oh wow, that did well. Let's just put out a sequel, and they put out a lot of sequels, and some of those sequels just did not like straight to VHS. Yeah. I think there were 3 Aladdins. There was 2 Lion Kings. I have a feeling
there was so many Aladdins.
102 Dalmatians, I remember that.
Jungle Book 2?
Was there Jungle Book 2?
Yeah.
Mowgli goes back to the jungle. Is that
basically,
the story?
yes, and he's got a friend.
Oh no. I
didn't like Jungle Book. Like, Jungle Book was never my favorite, and I know some people like adore that movie, but I just think, like, I don't hate it. I just, like, I'm pretty ambivalent towards it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
I think as an adult, if you stop and think about it, like, damn, it's actually a very sad story. Like, there's this
Jungle
kid.
Book.
Yeah. I mean, actually, a lot of Disney stuff. You sit and you think about it, and I'm like, how is that allowed? How did they? I don't know. Like, I can't imagine someone sitting in a boardroom saying, like, yeah, and then in Lion King, Simba's dad will die.
Yeah.
We'll make children in theaters sob their hearts out, or just
that thing is still traumatic. Like, even when I watched that CGI remake, which I really liked. I know a lot of people thought it was soulless and whatever, but I thought it was great. But I'm biased because I really love the Lion King.
Yes, yeah. I'm ambivalent
man, that
to
scene.
See, I love the Lion King too, but the remake, I suppose my biggest criticism, which isn't fair, is that it's not the original, and it should never have been the original.
Definitely.
But it's just when you expect, like, a song's about to drop, and then they start singing, like, oh, it doesn't quite sound like how I remember it.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
That's true.
But
that's true.
I mean, in terms of CGI, like, yeah, it is great.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
But I think the Jungle Book, Jon Favreau did both, right? The Jungle Book, like that completely blew me away because I was not expecting it to be that good. Like the level of CGI.
I was just totally.
I was
totally blown away by that.
Yeah, I was like, it's a live adaptation. It'll be okay. And I was like, damn, that is some good shit.
It was really. I still want to know whose idea it was to get Christopher Walken to do a musical number, because that was certainly a choice.
Christopher Walken. What a guy.
It was so bizarre. I was like, oh, cool, we're going to hear him actually sing. But he kind of just like spoke in rhythm in his weird, like, pausing. It was so bizarre.
That's the same as in The Lion King. Was it Scar?
It was a different actor.
Yeah, but it wasn't Jeremy Irons like the original. But I think his song as well is like him just talking through it. Is like that.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
And that song is actually really good. Like when he's singing with the hyenas, it's like scary and ominous and
it kind of lost that a bit. But yeah, CGI remakes.
I wonder which one they'll do next, because I didn't like the live action Aladdin. Like
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Aladdin anyway either, outside of Robin Williams' Genie. So I don't know which ones they could do.
They've done
live action Pinocchio, make it a horror movie.
Why would you do that? Kids,
like Chucky or Annabella, but it's Pinocchio.
Parents around the world take the kids like, yes, this is my favorite childhood movie, and it's a horror.
Oh wait, the new one that's coming out is Mulan, which was meant to be out but COVID.
No, but after that, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
What is the next Disney movie? Will they do a live action Hercules? Too late, they've done that. It's called God of War now. I'm kidding. That's
just get The Rock as Hercules. I would watch
my god, that'd be amazing. Although speaking of that, I was actually surprised in God of War 3 when you actually fought Hercules. I did not expect that. Although it makes sense.
Fucked him up as well.
Yeah, you really did.
Didn't he? He had those like really weird like bear gauntlets.
That game.
And then you like mashed his face in essentially. Good times. Yeah. Good times. God of War.
Yeah, matured a lot. I mean, your God of War 3, thinking of that now, I was like, damn, there's some real over-the-top, unnecessary violence in that.
Like you literally rip a dude's head off and then use his head as like a lamp.
Yeah. Although I suppose that they kind of nod to that in the remake with
Mimir.
Mimir.
Well, I guess you do cut his head off, but you do it as a sort of
Do him a favor
mercy to
somehow,
him.
yeah.
Also, he tells you good stories, so I like
He does.
Mimir.
Thank God.
I would listen to a podcast of just Mimir.
While rowing your canoe down the river, the river high. Yeah, but
Oh my God, my watch is pinging me.
what's it pinging you about?
I'm getting messages, but usually it's on silent. So now it's back on silent.
What a hashtag humble brag. What Apple Watch you got there?
Apple Watch? I don't know.
Which one? What series?
The 5th one?
Yes, humble brag more. I'm joking.
I got it through that good insurance, that Vitality, and then proceeded to completely scratch it within the first month.
Oh no! Did you not get a screen
Fuck my
protector?
life. No. I like walked past a column which had like rough cement on it, and it just went just like
that is
gone.
the absolute worst number of watches.
I was
I've done
very
that
sad.
too. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you know what?
I was very sad.
It's one of those things where when you get a new device, you look after it, you're precious, and then it gets that one scratch, and then a month later, like, it works, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So. The amount of times I've now like thrown my phone to my bed and just missed my bed happens.
There's like a couple of iPhone-shaped dents next to your bed. Like,
yeah, it's like, and as it leaves my hand, I know it's like either gonna work or it's not, and it's just like, oh fuck.
My worst is if I throw my phone, I'm like, I'm gonna land it so neatly on the bed, and it just bounces. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, like hits a corner and it flies off. It's
like,
it's
no.
like one of those stupid bouncy balls you used to get as a kid, which were like every time it bounced in a different direction. It's like that, but your phone.
I mean, so this is like on that story, but on that same sort of notes, I climbed into the shower the other day and I had my wedding ring on, and I hate showering with it on because it keeps slipping off. So I took it off, and I'm just going to drop it on the mat at the shower. So it'll sit there, I'll grab it when it's out. Dropped it so neatly, and it like bounced. It's like ding, 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 ding. It's like, oh, for shit's sake.
Cracks the towel.
Yeah, I was like, God, it like literally just bounced 7 times. Like, oh my God. Like I should have just put it down into.
At least it didn't like fall down the drain or something. I was waiting for that story to take a terrible turn.
Yeah, I saw your face. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like,
I got it.
I put it on the mat. I'm just like, oh fuck, this sounds like the worst. Okay, at least it's not gone.
This is why Len's
so wait,
not in the cottage anymore.
It slips off in the shower. Like, is it not tight on your finger or?
No, it's tight. But when my finger's wet, it's like. It doesn't just slip off, but I mean it's susceptible to just sliding off. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Okay.
So
okay. Do you when you go for a jog, do you run with it on?
No. I ain't gonna get mugged with for my ring.
Fair enough.
No, I've done it before though, where I've gone running without taking it off. I'm like, shit. And then
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
When I run with it off, I'm like, damn, everyone's gonna think I'm single now.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna get
proposed
to while on a run. You know.
Like look at my tan line. Look at my tan line. It's there.
They're like, if there's no ring, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Oh
no, don't run with it though. Yeah, but how's your week been? It's been a week for me. Let me tell you, work has been wild.
Yeah,
exceptionally wild.
It's been a hectic week. I think I think everyone's like been busy, but it's also been like a really emotionally heavy week, just like following everything that's happened in America. It's if you don't know, the protests in America it's basically like equal rights activism, Black Lives Matter, following the death of George Floyd at the hands of policemen last week. I think it was last week Friday.
Shit, it's been just over a week now.
Yeah, it's just been like so. I'm like really, really proud that proud is maybe the wrong word because I have no hand in it, but like really happy to see that the protests have continued so like strongly because I think people have just like had enough now, and rightly so. It's fucking horrible what's happening in the States right now.
We see, I mean, we're not in the States, but we see clips coming out of it, and it's like, how is this happening? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And the police just seem to be like doing worse and worse things every single day, and there's no like government officials coming out and like really supporting the movement. It just seems like completely like ridiculous. Like finally the people are like almost like rising up and being like, we're fucking sick of this shit, and right on them, you know. And to see the support all over the world, seen marches, you know, in all sorts of other countries.
I saw a photo from France. It was like
France,
insane. The like the thousands of people. It was, I don't know where it was, but the streets were like literally you couldn't move, like you couldn't swing a cat, basically.
You couldn't swing a cat.
That's an actual expression, I swear.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Never.
Swing a cat? What, like by its tail? Like that sounds horrible.
It is so packed you couldn't swing
a cat.
A cat. I swear to God, that's a
yeah.
Not enough room.
It is now.
Not enough room to swing a cat. That's an actual expression.
Okay.
Lenska says it's a horrible expression, but it is.
We've got a podcast title now. I've never heard of that in my life.
Hang on, yeah, very little space, cramped quarters, as in there's not enough room to swing a cat in this tent. This expression.
Why would you swing a cat?
This expression, first recorded in 1771, is thought to allude to the cat o' nine tails, or a whip with 9 lashes, widely used to punish offenders.
Oh, not an actual cat.
Yes, okay, we're all wrong.
It's that whip that had like 9 pieces. Okay, got you.
Okay, but I'm not mad. There's an expression, no room to swing a cat. So that's what is happening in France, okay? There's not enough room to swing a cat in that protest. That's how many people there were.
Not actual cats, but yes.
Not actual cats. Lamau.
But it's I'm glad that people are doing what they can to support the cause as much as they can, and it's just a weird time because it's like brands jumping on it and everyone else jumping on it, and it's like this weird like, it had to take people dying for people to kind of realize that there was injustice. And it's I think if you just have any sort of if you want to support it in any way, there's like loads of ways to support the causes, to like donate to them. I know GameSpot is running a month-long stream to help raise funds for COVID and for Black Lives Matter, so you can tune in there. So do what you can, I guess.
Yeah. Just on the brand thing, it's been kind of weird because at first it was like, oh, that's nice. Like this brand has come out and publicly said like they stand for Black Lives Matter, and like that's cool. But then it almost becomes a thing of like, no, it comes across as like a PR stunt. Like, oh wow, And I think the one that was a big oof was when Blizzard put out a thing saying like, yeah, we stand with our community XYZ, and people are like, oh, that's interesting. What happened with Hong Kong? Remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh,
It's like, we support these protests and whatever. It's like you literally banned your streamers because they spoke about the Hong Kong protests.
Yeah,
it's like
okay. Someone done did fuck up there.
Yeah. That's the thing where it's like it's really obvious when people are just like jumping on the bandwagon. But at the end of the day, if it's crap. But if it helps them inform change in the future or donate money, then that's cool. But like someone needs to hold them accountable to that. They can't just put out a statement and everyone goes, "Hey, remember when they supported that movement and did like fuck all after that?"
But I think it was Kotaku did an article saying like, here's what gaming companies who have put out statements have actually done, and some of them were like, this company's literally put out a statement, when reached for comment we received nothing back. This company's put out a statement and they are donating $100,000 to XYZ. So it's interesting to see like who's actually doing something and who's just like put it like it's lip service, whatever.
And also like companies that are super big, making donations that are big, but not big in the scheme of what they could donate. Like I feel bad about like bagging on Ubisoft, because Ubisoft as a company seems like very diverse when you compare them to a lot of other studios, but they like donated $100,000, and it's like you're like the second biggest publisher in Europe.
that's the same as the Pokemon company. I think they also did about $100,000, and it's like your company is
huge.
worth actual billions. Like,
Yeah.
you print
And
money.
Like Take-Two, who publish GTA, they shut down GTA Online for 2 hours. That's it.
Nice.
It's like, guys, come on. Meanwhile, you've got indie studios, like literal indie studios, matching these massive publishers. You've got like J.J. Abrams' film studio donated $10 million.
Really? Jeez,
yeah, that's the sort of shit. Like, that's the money you guys have. Like, you know, use it. The one I saw yesterday that blew me away was Michael Jordan. He said over the next 10 years, he's going to be donating $100 million to initiatives and causes to support equality, which is just like so
that's
much
insane.
fucking
I mean,
money.
that's like one dude. Like, yeah, he's sitting on a lot of money, but he's not a corporation with billions of dollars. And I get it. It's not a thing.
That's why I hate it when people defend like rich billionaires and they're like, yeah, but they're the ones creating jobs and whatever. It's like, yeah, but in times of crisis, they aren't the ones stepping up. Like, you can't trust them to do that.
And like, I think some people do confuse the thing of like, you know, just because someone's worth millions, it doesn't mean they've got a cash flow of millions, but it's like, but they still are sitting on money.
Yeah. They could make the change if they wanted to. 100%. But yeah, if you feel inclined, you should donate to the many different causes that are out there. I hope it brings about some form of change at the end of the day.
I mean, I think, I don't know when's the last time in history it was a movement like this. Like, I don't know. There's obviously have been movements over the years and decades and centuries, but this feels like America's up in arms, like everywhere, and the world is also like, what the shit's going on. So,
like on par with civil rights movements with Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. So yeah, it's good. Like, it's fucking enough. Like, enough of this. It's really horrible to keep waking up to news pieces of black people in America being killed by cops for absolutely no reason. And just in general, like, cops in America seem out of control. So change that shit.
Trick up here. Yeah, but in lots of news.
We talk about video games here to try and at least give you something else to think about. Yeah,
we play games to escape the horrors of the real.
It felt very weird to play video games and report about video games this week, I won't lie. But I didn't, at least I think both of us haven't played much else when compared to last week.
No, I mean, I was telling you, I've played, so I'm still grinding away at that Final Fantasy VII Remake Platinum. I'm about 6 hours away, maybe 7, because I'm actually in the last 2 chapters. So I've got to just finish them on hard mode, and then there's some optional fights I've got to do, and then I've got to go back and like redo a couple of chapters, but skip through cutscenes to get a trophy. So it's like
how fair is the platinum, would you say? Because you've done some platinums, and
I think it's pretty fair. I mean, so when you just finish a game on a normal playthrough, if you've done most of the side quests and stuff, you've probably unlocked maybe 50% of the trophies. But remember, the PlayStation weighs it weirdly in that a bronze trophy counts like 1%, let's say, but a silver trophy counts 5 or 10%. A gold one's 20%. You know how they weigh it, your trophy progression. So when I say 50% done, it's like I've unlocked, I think when I checked, I'd unlocked 40 bronze trophies. And that is just like normal playing the game, maybe doing some optional stuff here and there. But then the last few trophies are like, one of them is finish the game on hard mode. And that's probably the most time consuming one, because then you have to replay the game on hard, which is another 20 to 40 hours, depending on how you play and what you do if you're watching the cutscenes again. I do think it's pretty fair though. Like, the hardest trophy is probably the fights I still need to do. There are 2 optional fights, and I haven't watched any videos, seen any guides, but I know what they entail, and I'm like, oh god, that's going to be quite something. So, and then there's one trophy tied to a story beat where there are different outcomes, and you have to replay certain chapters to dictate what that outcome is. But that's probably the most grindy one. But I think when you can skip cutscenes and dialogue like fairly easily, so you can always just fly through that trophy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's not. Yeah,
it's
because
not too
I
bad.
hate it when games are like, we've got 6 endings and you've got to see each one of them to get the platinum. It's like, no,
Yeah, but I think
I refuse.
the hard mode trophy is fair because it really is. I've enjoyed the hell out of replaying the game because it's a completely different challenge, and it forces you to think carefully because, like I've told you, you can't use items, so no Phoenix
Yeah.
Downs, no ether, nothing, and benches don't replenish your mana, so it forces you to really think like, what am I going to do in this boss fight? I have to. So in normal mode, I might have breezed through a boss fight because I just mashed my way through it. Now it's like, oh, what is this thing weak to? What part of it should I attack? Should I focus with like what should I focus on with what party member? So it's actually like I'm glad I'm doing the platinum because it has forced me to play it on hard, and I've really enjoyed replaying the game. And like,
And it shows that that combat system really holds up to like the scrutiny of being deep.
I think it really it's when the combat system really shines because I mean there are like I enjoyed it on normal. Don't get me wrong. But in hard, it is a thing of like, oh shit, like I really have to make an effort to stagger this enemy by doing X, Y, Z, to do maximum damage, whatever.
And you're swapping between party members a lot?
You have to. Like, you absolutely have to. It's like, again, in normal, you could probably just breeze your way through it, maybe swap now and then. In hard mode, I think you have to use each character's strengths and like constantly fill up the ATB gauge to cast spells or do abilities, whatever.
And that doesn't feel. I mean, I'm only coming from my experience of playing the demo, but it felt pretty. It felt pretty fluid swapping between characters. But I can
It's
imagine
very
if you're
fluid.
constantly doing it, like so it doesn't get annoying. Like it doesn't feel like, oh god, I'm having to pause every 2 seconds.
I think it comes down to, so when you do cast a spell, something you usually like pull up the menu and it goes super slow mo. But if you dig through the menus, you can actually put some shortcuts on each character.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you push if you hold L1, then you can map L1 square, L1 triangle, L1 X, L1 circle to do a specific thing. So I could say like L1 X is my heal button. Like at the moment, my party's low, I can push L1 X with Barrett and he'll heal the whole party as an example. So I think once you like iron down what your 4 most used abilities are per each character, then you actually spend very little time in the menu unless you are going for a different spell ability that's not mapped to a face button.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, I didn't know that you could do that. That's actually a really clever feature to have there.
Yeah, they don't. There's actually a couple of things I don't outright tell you, but if you dig through the menus, you're like, oh shit, this is actually really handy. And to be honest, like I used it very little again in normal mode because I didn't really have to rely on it. But on hard mode, I was like, I'm actually going to make an effort, and it's been awesome to like. I know exactly what each character's face buttons do, and I use them like accordingly in each fight. So yeah,
Okay,
it's a
then
good time.
that's a smart addition to that. Okay, yeah, I will get to it.
You gotta.
I
I'm in
Yeah,
love with that
it's-
game. It's real good.
every time I think I'm gonna get to it, something comes up. Like I've got The Last of Us 2 now. I can't talk about it, but I've got it, and so that's got to happen. But yeah, I'll
Among
get to
other
Final
things.
Fantasy. It seems like a
Goddamn.
good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. But yeah, that's basically what I played the most this week.
And what did you stream this week? Some more Counter-Strike?
No. So I played Final Fantasy on Tuesday and then Counter-Strike on Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah,
Counter-Strike's
that's
still
it.
good.
It's still good. I'm still hooked.
Still good. You're gonna try that Valorant now that it's
I
out?
want to, but apparently the anti-cheat system is very invasive to the point where it can like
On a kernel level. Yeah.
it's like on a kernel level. I think, is it a kernel level? It's like they can do a lot of shit to your.
It installs it on a kernel level because it does like a hardware check. So
Yeah, and I'm like,
it bans when it bans a player. It kind of like it creates an ID for that configuration of your hardware. So even if you delete accounts or redo accounts, like you'll maybe get one game in and then it will register your hardware ID and ban that new account, which is fucking cool. But like the access that it requires to your PC is a bit ridiculous.
See, but the problem with that is that I'm like, okay, I get it that if you want to get rid of hackers, you need to obviously get as much control to see what players are doing, But the problem is that apparently the game still has a lot of cheaters, and I'm like, is your anti-cheat really working then? So I'm like, I'm keen to try it, but I'm going to give it some time.
I did enjoy a thread on Twitter where a bunch of people who had cheated in the beta thought that they were going to get a pass when the game came out, and then when they tried it, they weren't unblocked. And one of the devs from Riot, like, they were tweeting at him being like, hey, I thought you were going to give us a pass. I was just testing the cheat anti-cheat in beta. I'm not actually a cheater. And he's like, tough luck, man. He's literally like, he could not give a shit, and it's fantastic. It's amazing because the only way they get to play now is if they like build a new PC.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that eliminates the whole thing of like, I'll just make a new account.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's incredible.
They literally need to build a new PC to play Valorant. But it's like, I'm also like, people are like, oh, I only use cheats for 30 minutes. It's like, why did you use them at all?
Why did you even use them?
You know that this is a possibility. Like I have no fucking remorse for people like that, because you don't accidentally use a cheat, at all. So
no, it's ridiculous. Oh, accidentally.
That said, I got banned from Quake Online years ago. I got banned. Well, my account was banned on Quake Online for cheating, and I did not cheat. Like, I legitimately fought with support, being like, I don't know what I did, but like, I wasn't cheating.
I can't help that I'm so good at the game. I mean, come on.
Thing is, I wasn't. I was so bad. Like, that's what shocked me even more. I'm like, either I'm like the worst cheater in the world, or so I don't know if it like picked up some background app and like flagged that as a cheating. So I don't know. I never got back online on Quake Online, and I was very sad because Quake Online was pretty fun.
It's a good time. I miss Quake. It's good old land.
Quake is good. Unreal Tournament, pretty good. We should play Quake Champions. That game's real fun still.
I've never played it. Is that just the online one, right?
So it's basically Quake Champions, but they've got hero, like very light hero ability stuff to the characters, but it's the same like ridiculously fast-paced FPS. It's super fun. I really enjoyed playing it.
I loved Quake. Played a lot of that growing up.
Same. I played a lot of Unreal Tournament 3 as well. Lands. Good times.
Unreal Tournament 3. I played Unreal Tournament 2004.
I played that, yeah.
The one you had to install over like 8 discs or something, because it is that big.
and with the best, one of the best FPS maps in the world. I always forget the name now.
Facing Worlds.
Yes, Facing Worlds.
Yeah, everyone knows that map. That is from the OG Unreal Tournament. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so simple and amazing, and I love it. But yeah, I love arena shooters. They're not the in thing anymore. I don't know. Arena shooters are cool because they require the sort of precision that you enjoy from like a Counter-Strike, but they also have this like looseness where I can like fuck around with a rocket launcher or the stupid like biogun or whatever. So it's like a good middle ground for me. Whereas a Counter-Strike, I just don't have the patience to really get good at it, and I feel like your enjoyment really comes out of when you know that game, like a Dota or whatever. So
yeah. I mean, there are things that I take for granted where it is. We actually have a colleague at work. He's like, he finally cracked. He's like, I've downloaded Counter-Strike. Let's play sometime, whatever.
Was it John Michael?
No. He plays already. I got him hooked long ago already. But I was busy thinking, like, how do you introduce someone to this game? Like, do they just play a bit of deathmatch and they play some casual games? Then we get into competitive. Like, you need to learn the maps, because if you don't, you're just gonna cry a lot.
You need to learn how that weapon recoil works, because it's so different to most other shooters.
I think the thing that blows people's minds when they come to Counter-Strike is that you shouldn't move and shoot, which goes against your logic. You're like, no, but I'm going to get shot if I don't move. It's like, no, if you move, your aim's going to be trash. You have to like balance standing still and like sidestepping and whatnot. It's
sidestepping, like crouching.
Yeah,
it's so anti what my muscle memory tells me, because in a Call of Duty, that's just not how I play at all.
Yeah, you just move.
Yeah. So like relearning that, it's just like, I don't know, and that's why I'm also like, Valorant looks interesting, but it's also, I know in my bones, I'm just like, this is not a game for me. It's just not.
I really want to try it, but that anti-cheat stuff, I'm like, I might just give it a month or two just to see how things play out.
I don't think they're going to get rid of it, put it that way.
But my thing is, it's fine. It's fine to have the anti-cheat, but then I don't want cheaters in my game. So
Fair
I'm
enough,
just going to wait a bit. So we'll see. We'll see.
I did see someone on Twitter get banned because they were playing with a cheater, and then they added him as a friend, and then they played more matches together, so it banned him too, which I thought was so funny.
Wow. That's insane.
Banned by association. Wow.
Yeah, it's like an accessory
my
to
lip
murder,
movement today is
basically.
bad. Yeah, it's like I
Accessory
didn't
to
cheat, but I
hacking.
watched this guy cheat, he carried me.
Yeah, well, look at my rank now. It's so good. I was carried to glory.
Exactly. Oh, so funny.
But yeah, other than Final Fantasy and CS, I've literally played an hour of Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch. Which I just told you, it makes me feel so guilty because I'm not playing Animal Crossing anymore when I'm on my Switch.
All your villagers are busy plotting to vote you off the island.
My villagers are like, where is he? Why isn't he talking to me? What's going on? I've got
Doesn't
a
it break
recipe
your
to
heart
give
when
him.
you go talk to them and they're like, "Oh, been a while," and you're like, "Crap."
Like, why you like this?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Xenoblade Chronicles is a JRPG that originally launched on the Wii, I think in 2006, 2007, somewhere there.
Back in the day.
And it was ported to the 3DS back then, like
the new
3DS. And now the definitive edition is on the Switch. And yeah, I've literally played the first hour, which means I've seen the intro movie and I've got to run around for like 10 minutes. So
it's a really critically acclaimed JRPG.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I've done a combat tutorial, but it's been very weird going to something like that after having played Final Fantasy VII, where it feels like sluggish in comparison. But I know it's not a fair comparison because I remember this game came out over a decade ago and the combat system is different. So I'm obviously giving it the benefit of the doubt. I'll give it a good few hours before I can.
I've heard that combat system is really what drives the game. Like it becomes incredible.
So what I can comment on though is that we've been spoiled after the likes of like The Witcher 3. I think redefined what side quests are like, and a lot of games that have followed have taken some notes. The side quests in this game, at least the ones I've picked up initially, are like they are the most bare bones thing
it's
ever.
your MMO side quests, like kill 10 rats.
I shit you not, one of the side quests is like, oh hey, I was meant to go kill this monster, but I don't feel like it. Can you do it for me? I'm like, what? I'm used to side quests where it's like, I was meant to kill this monster, but you see, my wife got sick and I had to look after her and I had to go
give me some
make
context.
some money. And like, there's none of that. But what blew my mind even more was that, so I'm in the opening area and I open up the minimap and there are just exclamation marks everywhere. Like there are so many exclamation marks. So I run up to the first dude and I click on him. He's like, okay, cool, here's your side quest. And I run away and the dude's still got an exclamation mark above his head. I'm like,
he's got another side quest?
But I've got that quest. I go and I talk to him. It's another side quest.
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay, cool. I got 2 quests from this dude. I'm just going to run away. And then there's a third exclamation mark. I'm like, there's no way. This dude's got a third quest. I've spoken to 2 people that had 3 quests each. I'm like, okay.
That's real like laundry list shit. That's
I was talking to Garth, a good friend, who he loves
the game. As far
he
as
loves
I know,
Xenoblade, yeah. And he was telling me that the side quests are literally just an excuse to get you to explore the map, which makes sense. It's like, go kill a monster, and it's like, but it's on that side of the map, and you have to get there, and that's how you experience the game. But it's just funny to see how far side quests have come, because I think stuff like that, some games do it, but it doesn't fly in today's games. Like, I think developers know you have to really give players agency and meaning and context behind why they are doing certain things.
Yeah,
like if I'm killing rats, I want to know it's because they're spreading the Black Plague, and I need to stop it.
Exactly,
stuff like that. So.
It's like the mechanic hasn't changed, but the reason you're doing it is completely different. And it's kind of why I stopped doing a lot of I stopped doing some of the side quests in Assassin's Creed Origins, because like a lot of them were just sending me back to abandoned camps that I'd already cleaned out to just like clean them out again. but then some of them are like really story heavy and really good. So it's like I have to like sift through all of them to find the ones that are actually engaging or not. So
Yeah. Good Lord. But that's my week. I'm going to play a lot more Xenoblade, and I might be joining you with The Last of Us too. We'll have to see.
I've just been playing more Assassin's Creed Origins. I finished the main story. It was incredible. Like really, I think the the ending is padded out a bit. Like I thought I was getting to the climax, and then it sent me back into the open world for like 2 or 3 hours again.
Oh no!
For missions that seemed like really shitty, but yeah.
Why do games do that? Because I feel like
Origins, I don't know.
Origins isn't the only culprit, you know.
Because it literally did the thing of like, hey, you're sailing to wherever and you can't return until this is done. So I was like, cool, I'm locked in for the ending. And then I returned and it's like, cool, now you basically need to play one more quest, which is like the epilogue. And I'm just like, why? Why?
What is this?
I don't understand. Why do this?
Like Final Fantasy VII Remake is also guilty in that the last 2 or 3 chapters, you'll know when you hit it. You get to one bit, you're like, this. They could have completely cut this out. It's padding out the game.
I've heard a lot of people complaining about the padding at the end of Remake.
Yeah, so. It was a bit like the game's got padding. Like, don't get me wrong, but the padding at the end, I was like, this is like completely unnecessary. You could have just deleted this chapter out, but the games would have still been brilliant. So
yeah.
Well,
what was fascinating about Origins was that at the end, I still hadn't reached the level cap, and there was still like 4 regions of the map that I hadn't even touched. So it was nice for the story to still like point me in those directions, which were interesting. And what I found really fascinating about that game is like there are regions of the map where it's just desert. Like it revels in having these wide open spaces that remind you like how big and how sparse the map is. And I think it's very different from saying, oh, this is an empty part of the map with nothing to do, because it stands in contrast to the really dense cities like Alexandria or Memphis. So it's a cool contrast, and I really like it. And there's like little things to find in the deserts, and like Bayek has these like heat mirages and visions and stuff like that. So there's stuff that happens while you're traversing through these big desert areas, and it's kind of serene and awesome.
Yeah. I'm keen to play that game.
So I finished, and now I'm playing one of the DLCs because there's 2. So I'm playing, well, the hidden ones is more like how does this connect to the, how does Bayek essentially start the Assassin Order? And the other one is more like, hey, dead pharaohs and mummies are coming alive. So it seems like a more mythological, weird thing, which apparently is really fun, but I'll get to that eventually. This DLC, The Hidden Ones, is like a pretty small DLC. Like your comparison to The Witcher 3 is apt, because it's like that also set the bar for how DLC is meant to be done. And I think even though Assassin's Creed Origins borrows a lot from The Witcher 3, it doesn't follow its scope in terms of like how big its DLC packages are. But I'm still having a good time. It's taken me to a new region, Sinai, which is quite beautiful and lovely. And Bayek's got a new assassin gear, which I really, really fucking like.
Nice.
It's just more of the gameplay that I've enjoyed. It's just like not really important story stuff as opposed to the story in the main game, which was really good, I thought. So yeah, it's good. I'm struggling to pull myself away from that game. Like, it's just really fun to explore the maps and find little hidden areas and explore tombs and upgrade Bayek. And it's, I like the loop that they have there a lot. And
I've watched Lenska play like 2 hours, I think, and even just seeing that is like, it speaks to me. I'm like, oh, look, okay, you're doing some quests, you're getting XP. Oh, look at that skill tree. Oh, look at that gear. Damn, like there's that loop there. I'm like, oh no,
it's so good.
Stay away.
I mean, I'm still like playing. I'm sneaking into bandit camps, like the DLC. The big like camps that you infiltrate are huge. So it's like this really long like stint of being very stealthy and taking people out, because like in Origins like you can fight, but if you take on too many enemies at once, you're fucked. Like you will die. So I feel like it emphasizes stealth more than many other games in the series. And the stealth is like super satisfying. So I really like sneaking into a camp, killing all the enemies I need to, and stealing all the gold I need to without being seen. It just feels so good. Yeah.
It's a good time.
My dogs are singing the song of their people now.
It's been a long time. They miss me. Like,
Yeah, they miss you. They're like, oh, Maddie, he hasn't been here for like 3 months. What's going on?
Hello.
But your Origins is good. I'm going to be playing The Last of Us this week, I think. So the embargo's up on 12th of June. So yeah, the next episode that we record, I'll be able to talk about it.
A little bit. Cool.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. What's today? The 6th. The 6th. Oh, it's
Can you believe?
Oh, it's the Friday. Oh,
Yeah. It's Friday, so reviews are coming out for that on Friday, and then it's out the next Friday.
Oh boy, I'm ready.
Can you
My
believe?
body's ready.
Yeah.
Good time to be alive. Sure, that's all the games we played this week.
Yeah, speaking of that, should we get to very limited games releases?
Game releases, The Last of Us 2, 2 weeks.
They're so limited this month. I mean,
That's it.
normally I send a list of games I'm keen to review for the month to Callie Plaggy, who's my reviews editor at GameSpot. And this month I was literally like, there's like one game I maybe want to play. And she's like, yeah, this month is pretty dry.
Oh, do you send them a list or they send you a list to choose
So
from?
I send a list of games that I would like to look at. And then based on whether, people on staff are reviewing that or not, I'll get assigned ones. And then she will also pitch ones to me that, she thinks would be a good match for me. So it's like a bit of to and fro, yeah. It's easier if I pitch to her what I want to look at rather than her guessing, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're looking at games releasing from today, June 6th, all the way up to June 12th. And there's there's 3 games.
Sure.
And
hit me with that long list.
So we've got Samurai Showdown, the new one, coming to PC finally on June 11th. Sam Show, it's a fighting game. It's not my thing, like, at all. But yeah. Also coming out on June 11th is Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection, which is pretty cool. It's like the old Samurai Showdowns.
Oh, wow.
Coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And apparently this is going to be a free game on the Epic Game Store. So if you're excited, look out for that.
Interesting.
And then the last game out this week is Beyond Blue for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Not the fighting game.
No, I think you're
I'm thinking of Blaze Blue. Sorry, yeah.
Blaze Blue, yeah. Blaze Blue. I googled Beyond Blue and I got a non-profit organization, so I got to attach games to there.
Nice.
Beyond. Ooh. Okay. This actually looks kind of fucking cool. This looks like my thing. I should have pitched this as a review. God damn it.
What is it?
Beyond Blue is a single-player narrative adventure that takes you deep into our planet's beating blue heart. Explore the awesome wonder and unbounded mystery that exists within the world's oceans.
Oh, fancy.
It sounds like Abzu, but like more documentary style.
Documentary. That's cool. That's all the games. It's like nothing.
Throughout 8 different dives, you'll explore the untouched world of our ocean and use technology at the edge of our understanding. Okay. Tracking sea creatures, unraveling mysteries, and interacting with the oceans like never before. It honestly sounds like a documentary game sort of thing, just showing you the ocean. It looks really pretty.
Narrated by David Attenborough.
It is narrated by some people, but not him, unfortunately.
Goddamn.
This looks kind of cool. I kind of want this. Okay, so yeah, that's
for
out.
it.
News.
News. I'm busy trying to find some news.
The news is that every event that was scheduled for this week was delayed for obvious reasons.
Because reasons? I think the most important, the biggest one is probably the PlayStation 5 reveal.
Yeah, so that was meant to happen on
Tuesday, 4th.
No, Thursday, June 4th.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Oh, June 4th. Sorry, not yet.
That didn't happen, and Sony hasn't given a replacement date because I think, as anyone would, everyone's just kind of like sussing out when will be the good time to talk about video games again, because right now there are more important conversations happening in the world. And most other companies did the same. I know EA delayed their Play event to later in June. IGN, who are hosting Summer of Gaming, also delayed a bunch of reveals to next week. Same for GameSpot with their Play for All event. There was also a bunch of stuff like Call of Duty delayed the rolling out of the new season for Modern Warfare. So did Fortnite. Some expansion.
I actually did see that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, an expansion announcement for something. I think it was Final Fantasy 14 got delayed or something like that. So, but basically, a bunch of everyone's kind of like agreed that this is not the time to be hyping up video games, and that they will give the space for more important conversations to happen. So that's cool. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk 2077's thing for next week also got delayed to later in June.
Goddamn. Lots of shit got delayed. How weird is it to think, though, that this would have been E3 week? Like, imagine... I mean, imagine you were in the States. Like, if COVID never happened, but everything else still happened. Imagine you went to America with all these riots and stuff happening.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it in Slack last week. It's like, if E3 was still happening, I would be on a plane right now, like, going to E3.
Goddamn.
Feels weird that I'm not, because it's like I went 5 years in a row, and this is like the first year in half a decade that I'm not going, so it feels odd. But at the same time, also kind of grateful, because like that flight is so daunting. I really just don't want to anymore.
It's far.
It's such a daunting flight. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, I do miss E3 as a spectacle. Like as an event where you can get excited for 3 days of just like nonstop gaming news, but it's fine that it's not happening. Maybe it'll come back next year. Who knows?
I mean, I think it might come back, but you're right. Who actually knows? The world is in a weird place.
Who knows anymore?
Who knows what normal looks like?
Who would have guessed? Like someone, Steve Watts, who works for GameSpot in Slack yesterday. He's like, remember last year where at the end of E3, they put up the dates for next year, and everyone's like, yeah, I guess we'll see if that happens. Who would have guessed that it wouldn't have happened, but not for the reasons that you expected?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't happen because of a global pandemic. Like, holy crap, who could have,
I remember, it's such a silly thing, because there was like literally a post on Reddit around December, January, where it was like 1820s, and the dates were completely wrong, but it was like 1820, the Black Plague, 1920, the Spanish flu, and then it was like 2020 ? I mean,
it was like every 100 years type thing.
Yeah, but obviously the Spanish flu was around that time, I think, but the Black Plague was like centuries ago. But it was weird, because I remember looking at it saying like, oh, that's like, if that's true, that's a weird coincidence. And here we are, the bloody pandemic. I mean,
still in lockdown. Still, it's wild. It really is just such a weird. This year has been so bizarre for so many reasons. Speaking of bizarre, the UK is basically opening up after their lockdown, and the Premier League is resuming again for some fucking unknown reason. Still don't think it's safe, but whatever. But of course, they're not going to have crowds in the stadiums, so they will be using FIFA crowd noise for the empty crowd games to overlay on the game on the broadcast to make it sound like there are people there, which is really funny.
Do you think the players will hear those cheers?
God, I don't know.
Can you imagine they just blare it around the city back?
It's so bizarre. It's just such a, because like it really is like I've watched football games where there's no one in the stadium, and it's weird. It like takes away a lot from the experience. So it's just such a weird thing. I think it's really funny.
On that note, you know that Portugal has opened up its borders for tourism as well. I'm like,
I know. I'm also like, I'm just like, what are you
doing?
Like
this? How much is a flight to Portugal?
What are you doing? I heard the most bizarre thing about Portugal is a complete sidebar now, because my dad keeps up to date with all the news, and he watches the news every evening and whatever. I didn't realize that very recently they passed a law there where government officials cannot be investigated for crimes. I'm just like,
Really?
that seems wrong. That seems very wrong.
That's ridiculous. What the shit?
Like, not convicted. They cannot even be investigated while they're holding office.
Wow.
It's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
That is a very weird law. Okay. Cool.
Anyway,
If you want to be
yeah.
a criminal, go run for governor in
Yeah,
Portugal.
go run for Prime Minister of Madeira, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
What else? Command & Conquer Remastered came out yesterday, so that's cool if you're into old.
Have reviews
Command &
dropped?
Conquer.
Has it been good or bad?
I haven't
actually
seen
looked.
reviews actually. I've seen some impressions, like people going, "Yeah, it's cool and all, but man, this gameplay hasn't aged super well. Like, you can't attack and move," which I'm like, "Oh god, I forgot about that."
So that's weird.
So things like that are super weird. Put it that way.
That's sitting on 83%. That's pretty good.
On Metacritic.
Metacritic, yeah.
Okay.
User reviews are 8.7.
Garbage.
Yeah, garbage. But I mean, it's weird. It's usually like either the critics love it and the fans hate it, or the fans love it and the critics hate it. Yeah, everyone loves it. Maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's nostalgia, and as far as I can tell, the remaster itself is actually pretty good. So if you know what you're getting into with the aged gameplay, I guess you're not really worried about that. So
Yeah.
Sega announced a thing called Fog Gaming. That
Yes.
the way I understand it is they're trying to find a way to leverage arcade hardware to make arcade games playable in the cloud, but they were hesitant to say that this is their answer to cloud gaming. My understanding is because of COVID, and I guess because maybe of a social, the way society has changed in Japan, maybe arcades aren't getting as much love as they used to. So they trying to leverage a way for people to still play arcade games. They're, using the machines that are housed somewhere instead of actually going to like an actual arcade. That's my impression. It's a very weird program that they didn't detail super well, but that's sort of what I gleaned from it, which is interesting for the Japanese market and makes, I think, absolutely no difference for the Western market, to be honest.
Yeah. Speaking on Sega, my favorite hot rumor is that Sega and Xbox are teaming up to release a Sega branded Xbox console in Japan. I don't know if you saw that rumor.
I saw that rumor. I highly, highly doubt that will happen, but it would be fascinating to see, because the original Xbox was essentially a follow-up to the Dreamcast. Like, it was basically that. It was being worked on with Sega at the time, so there's some legacy to Microsoft and Sega working together. So imagine it's like Microsoft Xbox Series X around the world, but in Japan it's like the Sega something, just
Sega
for
Series,
branding.
Yeah. But I mean,
Sega
there's
Series
also
X,
been,
oh god.
I don't know if this has been confirmed, but there's also the rumor that Sega is working on their console. And a lot of people just say, no, it's the Xbox that they're working together with. So I'm like, it is interesting, because I mean,
I think
like,
Sega getting back into hardware would be bizarre if they were doing it alone. But
that's
with
Microsoft, yeah, why would they do it alone? But when I saw the rumors, like, but it's actually just a it's an Xbox console together with Sega. I'm like, as unlikely as it is, it would somehow make a lot of sense. Weirdly enough, I think. So
I think in Japan, like, where Xbox has traditionally, well, at least the Xbox One has really struggled.
It sells less than 50 consoles a week. I looked it up.
Yeah, it's bad. It's the Xbox One in Japan is bad. That is real Sony territory. I mean, it's sort of the same as here in South Africa. Like, we are Sony territory. Even during the heyday of the Xbox 360, we were still PS3 territory. So there's just some countries that just have that.
I really thought we developed, because the 360 felt like it had a lot of presence.
It did, but the PS3 still outsold it. Like, I think it was like at the time I was hearing figures of like 60 to 70% market share for PlayStation 3, when globally that was nowhere near the case. Like, the 360 dominated the PS3 until the later days. So, what else? Summer Games Done Quick which I really enjoy. It's a week-long speedrunning event for charity, for Doctors Without Borders. They delayed the event to August this year because of COVID-19, but it's now been changed entirely to a online-only event, still taking place in August. So, yeah, I mean,
I
no
wonder
real
how
change
they'll
to
manage
anyone.
that.
Oh, they're going to be streaming from people's houses. I'm also curious because there's a lot of work that goes into making sure their streaming setup is like legit,
Perfect.
especially with all the old hardware they use. So
Yeah.
I think this is a logistical nightmare for them, but kudos to them for still pushing on with it.
I mean, not even that. Like, just thinking my very minimal experience in streaming and setting up my own stream. How, like, I don't know how you loop in other people and you keep to a schedule and you plan for potential hardware problems or network problems, and good lord.
Yeah, and then the schedule's thrown out of whack, and then I think it's made their job so much harder. So it's cool that they're still pushing on with it instead of canceling. I love that event. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in. I think it's August 16th to August 23rd. So
okay. Lupin's attacking my hand. Why are you like this?
Kingdoms of Amalur. Remember that game?
Mm-hmm. I've never played it, but I've heard plenty about it.
Yeah, it's getting a remaster called Re-Reckoning, which is ridiculous and amazing at the same time.
Good lord.
Kingdoms of Amalur has got a lot of history behind it. I'm not going to recite it all here because it's just a convoluted mess of a story. It was basically made by a guy who took like money from a state, and residents from a state basically funded the game, and then the game didn't do well, and then the studio liquidated, and he ran away with a lot of money, and it was a fucking nightmare. Anyway, THQ bought the rights to it at auction fairly recently, and they are remastering it, so that's coming out in August. That announcement came out of nowhere.
Was the game actually good?
It had a cool combat system, but like it felt like you were playing a single player MMO. Like all the objectives were like kill 10 of this, kill this. Like it didn't have hooks story or quest wise, but the combat was really fun to engage with. That's all I remember from it.
Okay.
So I'd be like curious to play it again, but I'm not like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this. Like no.
Yeah.
No,
because there seems to be a lot of excitement for it, but also in the same time not excitement for like wow.
Yeah, people are like, do you remember playing that game? It was kind of boring, and I tend to agree with them.
Weird.
Project Cars 3, Vroom Vroom. It's coming out this summer, which is like now. So that's interesting. What's fascinating is that it's being developed, of course, by Slightly Mad Studios, who are the same studio making that terrible looking Fast and the Furious game.
I know.
Project Cars 3 looks a lot better. Put it that way.
Project Cars 3 looks... Well, Project Cars has always been really good. I mean, I don't know much about the second one, but I remember the first one being like this revolutionary, like, wow, look at this sort of... Was it like Kickstarted, or... It wasn't a Kickstarter, but it was
it was actually... Project Cars 3 was... Oh, Project Cars was initially started by, if I'm not mistaken, someone here in South Africa. I
think you're right. Yeah.
But
it was
I
like one of
meeting...
those. I think I even interviewed the dude back when we were Lazy Gamer.
Yeah.
But I remember it wasn't like Kickstarter, but it was this weird, like semi-crowd-funded or crowd-created something game, and like now they're going for the third game, which is pretty cool.
So Slightly Mad Studios says their headquarters are in London.
London.
But did they make the first one? Yeah, they launched Project Cars, a community-developed racing simulator. So I think the community aspect of it, a lot of it came from like... I remember there was a person in South Africa that was heavily involved with the development of this game, but I can't remember for the life of me now who it was. But yeah, there's a third one coming out. It looks very... simulatory. So yeah, that's cool.
So
it's like Slightly Mad Studios just reminding people that they can make fucking good games. So
yeah.
So that's cool. What else?
I don't know if there was.
Can't recall anything. The Xbox PC store got updated recently and is starting to lay the foundation for mod support in the future, which is cool. If you buy your games off the Windows Store, but also like maybe Game Pass games will have mod support, so that's pretty nice.
Interesting. On that, I think Sea of Thieves came to Steam this week as well.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
I found that
cool.
GameSpot
so re-reviewed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious I'd actually love to try Sea of Thieves 2 years after its launch because apparently it's in a real good place right now.
I also kind of want to play it now. Yeah.
Did you play it? I think you did play it back in the day. Or
I reviewed it at launch. Yeah. And it was fine. Like it just felt empty. It felt like there wasn't much to do, and it feels like they've addressed that head on.
That's been fixed. Yeah.
Because GameSpot re-reviewed it and gave it an 8, and the main thing I took away from the review was that there's like so much to do now, which is the main criticism I had of it. Yeah, so I'm curious to like give it another go. I'm just
so your
trying
faves.
to see through. I don't see anything else really, so I think we can safely move on to questions. Yeah, if you would like to send us questions, you can on checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet us, checkpointchat, @checkpointchat on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm still getting question functionality up on the website, which is checkpointchat.com, but that's not up yet, but it will be up.
All in good time.
All in good time.
Okay,
also on TikTok.
We are not on TikTok. We are semi on TikTok.
Technically on TikTok. You can send us TikToks as questions.
Just dance for us.
Yeah,
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions from Megs. I had a quick look through them this morning.
See, he didn't message last week, and he was like, "I'm ready now."
Did he not message? Oh, he didn't. Yeah, he did not. He's got a backlog here. So his questions are titled Level 3 Booze Madness, Part 1 through 9. So Part 1, some helpful cat info. To avoid furballs and often coughing, throwing up of stuff, feed your cats bits of margarine by placing bits of it on your finger. They'll lick it up with pleasure.
I don't know if I want to do that.
My cats cough up the odd furball. I don't know if it's worth me even doing that. Like, would I do it daily? Once a month?
Yeah, I always thought it was such a common thing, but I've had cats for a long time and they've very, very rarely coughed up actual furballs. I think I had one cat that was quite susceptible to it, but other than that...
But I mean, if that's your cat, if your cat is coughing up furballs every day, apparently margarine on the finger is the way to go.
That sounds so gross.
Do you love or hate the feeling of a cat licking your finger?
Oh, I love it. I love that little like rough feeling. It's really nice.
Oh, Lenska hates it.
Oh, is it? I mean, I can understand it. It feels almost like sandpaper. So it's like
having never had cats until I moved in with her and brought my cat with. She like no reference point at all. So I think the first time Luna licked her, she's like, What's wrong with her tongue? Like, what's going on here? Like, no,
is her tongue burnt?
Normal.
Like, what's?
And she hates it. She's like, no, stop licking me.
I like it. I think it's really cool.
Part 2. Why do some people not say goodbye at the end of a phone call and just hang up? I find it to be annoying.
Wow. Yeah, that's really rude. Holy shit.
I don't know if I know anyone who does that.
It's never done
funny.
that.
I can tell you that my family are the opposite of that, especially my mom and my sister. They'll never say bye once. They have this thing where they say bye, bye, bye.
No, you hang up.
No. Like literally like that. Instead of saying goodbye and they hang up, they're like bye, 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 and then they hang up. Like 4 or 5 times.
It's like they're saying bye as they're pulling the phone away from their ear and like putting
really
it down. But like not saying goodbye sounds like a movie thing. Like they're not going to waste precious seconds on pleasantries on a movie phone call. Like every time in a series or a movie, people answer the phone, they don't even say hi. They're just like, "Do you have the thing? yes, I have the thing. Good. And they just hang up or something like that. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, when you explain it like that, it sounds like that's a bad guy talking, and they're very unlikely to say goodbye at the end of a conversation.
It's also true. I have your pet
You made it
lizard.
sound, like
You have 24 hours to bring me the antidote. Okay,
Do you have the million?
No, you
do
hang
you have
up.
$1 million? Psst, like done. You know.
No, you hang up. Okay,
No,
come
you
get your
hang
lizard.
up.
No, you hang up. Come get your lizard.
Bring me my $1 million. Are you
Okay,
still
bye.
there?
Bye. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. Bring me my money. Bye. Part
That'd be
3.
amazing. They should do that in movies.
Did you guys partake in the booze buying bonanza when South Africa reached level 3 lockdown? Was it in-store buying or a big online buying spree, or perhaps you didn't buy any booze at all and resumed business as usual? P.S. I chose option 3. So Meg's just resumed business as usual. I did not go queue for booze.
I did not queue for booze.
I saw many videos and photos of people queuing for booze. I was like,
Fucking
South Africa
idiots.
has a drinking problem.
100%. That's what I've learned
Listen.
from this COVID thing. Like, a nicotine problem, sure, that is like an addictive property that is whatever. Fuck it. I don't care. But like, people are literally queuing up for alcohol. Like, you've got
I was
a
like,
problem.
listen, I have no issue with people drinking. Like, not at all.
You are
do
daytime
you.
high
But-
functioning alcoholics.
But if you have to go queue for hours on day one to risk getting infected and just to get your fix, I'm like, damn,
To get your clippies and coke.
you need to just take some time out to be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to get beer, but I'm gonna wait a couple of days just for the hype to die down.
We
So-
I ended up going, I think, 2
Or
days
just
after
order
they
online.
started selling it. We just bought wine for cooking because, like, we don't drink. We don't
You
drink
guys have
alcohol at home.
you guys have a cooking problem.
We have a cooking, like, we don't drink alcohol at home. We buy a lot of alcohol free beers, and that's generally what I have. So like we use a lot of wine in cooking, like very cheap wine, and that wasn't on sale, so bought some wine
That's
for
so
cooking.
funny. You guys have a cooking problem. I think you need to
Man,
join
when you're
cooking-
making a
cook-
good like pasta and you need a nice red wine reduction
Chefs
sauce.
Anonymous,
so-
you know, you gotta go join those dudes.
Chefs Anonymous.
Part 4. When we finally arrive at lockdown level 1, will Alessandro and Shani go back to the cinemas or simply stream the newest releases at home?
No, fuck that. I'm going back to the cinema. I need my fix.
But I do wonder, like, I know there are people who give zero shits about lockdown. Like, it's like business as usual. Life's gone back to normal, essentially. But there are people who are very cautious, who I do think will take many months to get over the fact that, like, you know, like, and what does it even mean? Because at some point we are going to have to go back to normal life with the pandemic still happening, like, to a degree. So I don't know what the future holds. It's just interesting to think.
I do feel like people are really like they've gone back to normal. They're just driving around. They're visiting people. They're doing whatever. And I'm like, I almost feel like I'm going crazy because like I haven't seen Shani or whatever. Because I'm like, yeah, we're still in level 3. We're not meant to be doing that. And it's not like, oh, I'm a stickler for the rules or whatever. It's like, you know, if I get stopped on the highway, I can still be in big trouble. Like,
Yeah. Well,
will I get stopped on the highway? 95% chance I won't. But in that chance that I do, I'm in huge shit. And, you know, it's not just about like getting in trouble. It's like, I don't want to expose Shani and potentially her family to something if I've caught it. So it's still like, it's this weird thing. But then you see other people who are just going out and doing their thing, and it almost makes you feel like you're being stupid. But I don't know.
Yeah. No, but you're not alone though, because we're the same. Where it's like we being very cautious. Like, I haven't seen the outside world in weeks. Like, we've been doing online shops, and Lenska's been doing most of the shopping because she works earlier hours, so she can get to the shops in time. But it's the same thing where I think all my colleagues as well are like being very strict, but there are people I know just going on with normal life. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. I really don't.
And you do pause and wonder, like, am I being like overly pedantic? But then I have to pause and realize, like, no, I'm on the same property as my father-in-law. He's diabetic. He's a high risk, so
Exactly.
like, I can't. You know,
That's exactly the thing. It's like Shani's grandmother is very old, also like high risk patient. So it's like, and they visit her because she lives like down the road because she needs, you know, people to help care for her.
No,
So it's like,
definitely.
not a fuck that I'm gonna risk that, you know. It's more important than me, and it's frustrating because Shani and I can't see each other, but it's like, you know, you have to keep reminding yourself of the perspective of the actual thing. So
No, exactly.
yeah, it's like I sold something off OLX this week to someone who was in my suburb, but like I had people messaging me. They're like, I'm from Pretoria. Can we meet somewhere? I'm like, no. You can
No.
you can come to Benoni if you want, but I'm not fucking leaving. Like, no.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, come on, can we meet halfway? I'm like, no.
No.
Like, it's like, no.
Stop it. Good Lord.
No, you stop it.
No, you hang up. Bye. Okay, part 5. Has Alessandro gone back to the office yet? Which he has mentioned his bosses really want, even though he prefers to code in Barbosa pajamas instead of business casual attire.
Listen, I've started wearing jeans because I can't. Like, I need to feel. I put on jeans so I feel productive. Like, the sweatpant things does not work anymore.
No scam. I've been wearing pajamas happily for weeks now. And Lenska's the opposite. She gets dressed every morning. She's like, no, I have to.
Yeah,
same.
same.
It's the same. She's like, I also feels like I've done nothing the whole day.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, doing washing and putting my washing away has never been easier. It's usually like a pile of shirts. It's like work shirt, casual shirt, pajamas, running shirt. And now it's literally like, okay, I've got a pile of pajama shirts and my running shirts. Cool. I'm done now.
I am appreciating that I can dress like even though I'm putting on jeans or whatever, I can dress with the most stupid like combination of hoodies and jerseys to keep warm rather than like worrying about looking presentable in an office while also keeping warm. So that's a bonus.
You're still wearing slippers, am I right?
Well, no, I'm wearing my Ultra Boost just because I really like that shoe. So I just like it. They're such a comfy shoe. They're like my slippers essentially. So, but I haven't returned to the office. We don't think we're going to anytime soon. I only went in that one day when I had no power. So I got a permit and whatever to go and work. But like the current situation is like, if you can continue working from home, continue.
Just work from home, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know some people are trying to get back to the office because like they don't have good workspaces or cannot focus at home, stuff like that. So that's different. But like they're like, if you can stay at home, stay.
I'm very comfortable at home, so I'm happy to just stay.
I'm super glad to not have 2 hours a day where I have to worry about driving. So very happy about that.
Exactly. Okay, part 6. Any current musical favorites at the moment? I'm currently delving into K-pop. The current top 3 song title and artist name format being Asa, Signature, Bazooka, GWSN.
Love it.
Ait, but Young Jung Daehun. I've probably butchered those names, but
Ait. I love it.
Do you guys listen to songs in a different language, even if it's in Portuguese? As mentioned many moons ago, my musical hearing tends to low play the vocals and concentrate heavily on the groove and the bass. I can tell you, Migs. Oh no, you go first.
Just as a sidebar, the K-pop scene has really taken over this whole movement. They basically they flooded the Blue Lives Matter hashtag because that hashtag is so bullshit with K-pop, which I think is fucking hilarious.
I don't think it was just that hashtag. I think it was Blue Lives Matter,
All Lives Matter,
All Lives Matter, and maybe even White Lives Matter. I don't know.
It was it was White Lives Matter. That was the one who was like K-pop stands. Amazing. It's just like
that fan base is just like
K-pop of the allies we didn't realize we needed.
Yeah, who knew? In terms of what I've been listening to, I shit you not, the only music I've listened to non-stop has been the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack. But it's so that soundtrack is like, I think it's 6 or 7 discs long. So it's like a good 6 to 8 hours of music. But what's been funny is that it's not on Spotify. Okay. So I'm relying on YouTube. People have uploaded it on YouTube to listen. But Square Enix are taking it down very quickly. So I've been listening, due to copyright or whatever. So I've been listening, and halfway through, it's just like, this video has been removed.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit. And then I look it up, and I'm like, oh, someone else has uploaded it. I just carry on listening anyway.
It's probably like the same person just using mirrors. Just wow.
I don't know, but I laugh because it's like literally just stops. Like, oh, what happened? Oh, this video has been removed. Oh, okay, well, I was on disc 3. Let me just.
I don't understand
find
that.
something
I
else.
just like Persona 5 soundtrack is the same. It's not on streaming services. You can buy it on iTunes, but it's like on YouTube, and they don't take it down. But it's like, just put it on fucking Spotify. Like,
Square Enix are removing the shit off YouTube like as fast as they can. I don't know why either. I mean, I guess
they're selling the soundtrack. They don't want
they're
people
selling the
getting it for
soundtrack.
free.
Yeah, it's true. I get that, but then put it on Spotify because then I think there's still
Yeah.
incentive to used to make money on Spotify.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I listened to. So Valve is doing this weird thing where they're releasing the soundtrack from Half-Life Alyx in batches. So there's only like one episode out now, which is only half an hour long. But that music's real good.
Oh no,
It's like ambient and strange, and I like it. I also listened to the new Run the Jewels album, which came out this week, which was really good. They released it for free in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement, which is awesome. And there's some bangers on there. So yeah, Run the Jewels.
on that Half-Life Alyx soundtrack. Don't be shocked if episode 3 doesn't come out.
Wow, rude.
Plant
How
that.
dare you? It's just
But I was
episode 2, episode 4.
I just want to set your expectations, okay? Part 7. Since you guys have entered the intermediate status of remote podcasting, any thoughts to bring in a guest or two, excluding Destiny Tortoise Dukes man? We do not want a return
Glenn.
to Checkpoint Destiny chat.
Oh, shame. Glenn is so nice. I just
I
give him
like how
shit about his turtlenecks, that's all.
Is referred to Destiny Tortoise man.
His Destiny Tortoise, man. Glenn is great. Glenn would be
good.
cool to have back. I think it's actually harder to do it remotely because not everyone has like mics that
Microphones and
or good microphones. They'll use headsets or they'll use like microphones or a pair of earphones. Like that's fine, whatever, but I'm not too happy with like downgrading the sound quality of everything. So it's actually harder. Like in person, I can just say, come to my house or your house, and we've got the mics there, so it's like not an issue. So yeah, and like I can't expect people to buy a microphone to occasionally guest on a podcast. You know what I mean?
And I sure as hell ain't driving to someone's house to drop a mic off and then pick it up and then take it to someone else. Because we do have a third mic, but yeah, maybe one day in person we'll
we have a third
investigate.
mic because the other mic is like fucked. So
This mic of mine is so temperamental. I don't know. It's frustrating. Okay,
we've
part
also got the
8.
Blue Yeti. You've got my Blue Yeti.
I've still got it. I've got mics galore here. Don't you worry. Okay, part 8. With fiber now available in my hood, I have the option to move to it. What fiber speed accounts did you guys opt for, especially since it's not only for yourselves, but for another or many people in the homestead? I think, what are you on now? You're on 100 meg.
I'm on 100, yeah. Just because
that
I'm
50
ridiculous
meg
and
is-
need the fastest thing possible. So I split the cost with my family because they
Yeah.
really do not need that speed, and I'm like, I want it. So
Like for scrolling Facebook, like, listen, mom and dad, you really need this 100 meg.
listen,
It
it's
will-
really nice when I log onto
Your-
Steam and it's like downloading at 10 megs a second. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, but for your parents, like, your feed will refresh in 0.3 seconds. Okay,
Exactly.
can you live without
Yeah.
that? You know,
Your Netflix, like, what is loading?
I'll what is loading? I'll never forget the jump from my dial-up modem to 384 kilobits ADSL.
Oh God,
it
must
was
have felt.
mind blowing, and
Well,
even
it
that's
was
like super
56k
slow.
to 386. That's like huge.
It's like 6 times faster, whatever. But I'll never
Yeah.
forget the first time I went to Google and it just loaded. I was like, whoa,
Oh my
it's
God.
so fast. Yeah, like it was almost instant, you know. I'm on a 50 meg line. Purely, so I think, to be completely honest, like faster is better. Like no doubt about that. But I might change my mind as games become bigger. But at the moment, I think any person can get by with a 20 meg line. Even 10 meg, I think is, look, it's not like I said, it's better to have faster because you spend less time waiting. But a 10, 20 meg line is more than sufficient for game downloads and stuff. Like the most you'll wait is a few hours for something to download.
Yeah, I think 50 meg is a really good middle
50
ground.
Yeah, the only reason I'm on 50 meg though is because when fiber rolled out in our area, it was like a launching special and it's a really good price. We're paying, I think, It's like 900 a month for 50 meg.
You see, I pay that for 100. So
I see you're paying that for 100, but I think if you
it all depends on your provider.
Now, but if you were to sign up now, 900 will only get you 20 meg. Fiber.
See, that's the thing.
It's
all dependent on like your line provider and then the ISPs that support it and stuff. So it's like, I guess that made the decision easier for me because it was like 900 for 100 meg. I was like, yeah, cool, I'll do that.
Yeah. So who's your ISP again?
My ISP is Vox, and then my line provider is TT Connect. Because we don't have Vumatel here.
I think my ISP is Cool Ideas.
Oh yeah, because you went through that period where everyone was like, "Cool Ideas is trash," and you're like, "I'm having no issues."
I've still on Cool Ideas, no issues. There was a time when they were having problems, but it's blown over. Like, I mean,
now it's fine again.
It's absolutely fine.
Okay. The one thing I like with the 100 meg is like, okay, so because my parents, we don't have like DSTV or anything, so they are, whenever they're watching TV, they're streaming. What I like is that I have the bandwidth to essentially still download a game at like 7 or 8 megs per second, and limit the download so that there's still 20 megs bandwidth to stream, So it like gives me flexibility in that regard. But other than that, like I definitely think it's not like you need 100 megs. Definitely.
No.
Especially, and there's even like ways to pay more for like 200 megs. I'm like, I don't think you need that. Yeah. It's nice to have, and if you have the money to burn on it, go for it. But like, I don't think it's a necessity at all.
Yeah. Like my only thing is the only case study a faster line like that works. It's like, oh shit, Warzone has a 200 gig update. Thank God I've got a 200 meg line because it'll be done in like whatever.
But even then, it takes 10 years to fucking copy if you're playing on PS4. It takes longer to copy to the hard drive than it does to download. My God, I hate it.
Good thing PS5. I think Sony are compensating with their PS5. They knew that the hard drive was a piece of shit in the PS4. So they're like, we're going to give you this technology that doesn't exist.
Cannot wait for new SSD tech, honestly. Cannot come fast enough.
Okay, last question. How is the Sandy Station chair you got recently? Does it have the Barbosa imprint in it yet? PS, don't scoff at the knee chair until you try it.
I like my chair. It's really nice. I'm still getting used to the lumbar support thing because it came with a pillow for lumbar support, and I'm still not sure where it needs to go on my back properly. And then sometimes it hurts because I think my back's not used to sitting up straight for long periods of time while I'm working.
Oh, yeah?
So... yeah, that I'm getting used to, but the actual chair is like super nice, and I'm super happy I bought it because, I mean, there was nothing wrong with my older chair, but like, this is a chair that I can see me lasting like years and years and years, so I'm happy with that investment. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all of Miggs's question, and we have one on Instagram from ChelloZA. He says, why play Valorant if Paladins is better optimized, less invasive, and also free?
Isn't Paladins like a completely different game though?
It's a completely different. It's like an Overwatch clone. I mean, why don't you play that instead of Valorant?
I mean, because it's not Counter-Strike.
It's not Counter-Strike. This is true. Like, why am I playing? I've got Overwatch. Why am I playing Counter-Strike instead of Overwatch?
If my time to kill is over 0.5 seconds, then it's trash.
That's true.
I think that's actually already too long for Counter-Strike. I think your time to kill there is like milliseconds.
Yeah, but I think another thing, another reason I'm holding back in Valorant is because it's a low time to kill and the ping is 200, which, like we've spoken about it at length. I think in Overwatch and other games you can get away with it, but in Valorant it's like you just die and it's not fun. So
yeah, it's that's a very different ball game. Yeah, to play when you're playing with high ping. Yeah, and 200 milliseconds like makes a huge difference in a game like that.
Yeah. So but other than that, that's all and on Paladins, I've never tried it. Like so.
No, it's never appealed to me.
Is it good or bad? I don't know, but
I just know it's a very Overwatchy thing, and it's got a battle royale, which is interesting. I keep wanting to get back into Overwatch, and I'm like, should I do it? Should I not do it?
I want to. Do you have it on PC?
Yeah. See,
I also have this mild curiosity. Like, let me just play it a bit.
Let's do it. Let's stream it.
Up, you know.
If you hop back into Overwatch on stream, I'll join you.
You still owe me Left 4 Dead 2 game time.
Well,
Here I
I'm
am
waiting for an invite. Yes.
Okay. We'll make a plan.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what I'm streaming this week. Let me tell you my dilemma. I desperately want to play Celeste on stream, replay it on PlayStation. I want to platinum it. I've been waiting for this game to go on sale forever. Not because I'm a cheapskate, but because I do own it and I want to buy it for cheap again on another platform. I was waiting for this Days of Play sale because I knew it's E3 time, games go on sale. Celeste is not on sale. It's 320 Rand, which isn't a lot, but I'm like, do I need to spend this money? No, I don't. So I'm going to wait still. Let's play Minecraft Dungeons. That's free.
No.
That's
Dungeons. Okay, I thought you were going to say just Minecraft. I was like, no.
You said no before I even finished. Like, Minecraft, no.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Minecraft Dungeons.
Okay,
I'd be stoked to try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to let me know. You need to invite. I don't control your stream schedule. You need to tell me.
This is true.
Where do you stream again?
On twitch.tv/HarryKnees on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What a plug.
From 9 p.m. I know, what a plug. Good Lord. Look at all this Game Pass stuff. I was telling Cello about, we were talking yesterday about Sea of Thieves, like offhand. You're saying he bought it at launch and he had a lot of fun with it, but like they sort of fell off and you'd love for us to try it. But like he doesn't have it on Steam, like if we were to buy it. I was like, dog, it's on Game Pass.
Game Pass,
we can join you happily. So yeah. Even
it's all
Shame,
crossplay,
one
I
of
think.
Deathbox ZA, who does listen to the show, Shame, the poor dude's taken a 50% salary cut. Because we were talking about, I was saying like when we were going to play Minecraft Dungeons, like I'm not going to buy that. I'm earning half my salary.
Jesus, that's rough. I'm
like,
really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was like, that's real shit. But listen, it's on Game Pass. And Game Pass is so cheap. So let's play it. Good Lord.
Game Pass. It's real fucking good.
It's real good. Okay, and that's all the questions though.
If you want to send us questions as well, you can. checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com or at checkpointchat on all the social channels, including TikTok. And soon to come support on our newly launched website, checkpointchat.com. You can go listen to the podcast there. Yeah.
You
go
can
look at our great homepage because that's mostly what's there.
It's going to keep growing as we sort of figure out what we're going to do with it. But at the moment, it's nice to have a platform that is ours. What confuses me about our website is that there's a little download button. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I click on it and it just opens up a browser that plays the episode. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's part of
it.
Wait, yeah, you can download it from there, yeah. It's functionality from the RSS feed. I don't fully understand how it works, but yeah. But you can download it from there. Yeah.
Damn, that's cool. You know, when I was uploading every episode to YouTube, I thought to like not harass you, if I could maybe download what we have online. You know how hard it is to download a podcast off iTunes or anywhere. It's like non-existent.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have a download button, I'm like, wow, it actually works. That's amazing.
But it's also like you'd rather get the source from me because I don't know how heavily compressed shit is. Yeah.
No, for sure. But I wanted to try it out just to see, and I was like, I actually don't know how to do it. It's like impossible to download.
Yeah, it's very hard. I know Migs, if I'm not mistaken, long ago he was saying there was a way you could download it by using the RSS feed. Yeah, so I'm sure there's a way. But yeah, your webcam is so nice. It adjusts the focus every time you move. Is it that Logitech one?
It's the C902, I think.
920. Yeah. Shit.
It's a 920. Yeah, that's the one.
I need to get one of those. They seem real nice.
Yeah, I'm busy looking up your nostrils with your webcam now.
Yeah, this laptop webcams fucking suck. My God.
It's the best.
They fucking suck and I hate them. But anyway,
the best.
That's been episode 102 Checkpoint Chat. 102 donations. We're swinging a cat.
200. Yeah. Sweet. That's what you're going to call the episode.
Swinging a cat. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
With no context. Just like we like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. Next week's going to be a banger because we'll be able to talk about The Last of Us 2.
Last of Us. So, hallelujah.
Tune in for that. That's going to be fun. And obviously won't be spoiling anything. I'll be talking around that as much as I can. But we'll discuss that next week.
We will. That's
Have a
it.
great week.
We're leaving.
Recharge emotionally and physically. And
All the
we'll
things.
see you next Monday.
Yeah. Cool, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
No, you hang up.
Bye. 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 Bye.